The dark sky of Madrid, with rare window lights reflected in the glass of a small apartment. On the table lay a one-way ticket, and next to it, a resignation letter. John looked at it with relief. For the first time in years, there was no fear in his chest. There was emptiness and, finally, freedom. It all started with a single moment when he realized he couldn't remember how he had spent the past year. Office work drained all his energy, and the days blended into one. An inner voice, which he hadn't listened to for a long time, whispered, "It's time to change something." He sold his car, paid off his loan, and bought a ticket to Brazil. The goal was not to find himself, but simply to escape everything familiar. São Paulo greeted him with noisy streets and the aroma of coffee. For the first time in a long while, John felt the taste of life. In the evenings, he sat in street cafes, listening to travelers' stories and recording them in his journal. 6 months later, he found himself in India. There, in bustling Delhi, John felt loneliness more strongly than ever. He missed his family and friends, but knew that if he returned now, the journey would be in vain. He went to the Himalayas, where he met an elderly monk. The monk said, "You are looking for answers outside, but they have always been within you." These words stuck in his mind, and from that day on, John began to devote more time to meditation and reflection. In Japan, standing at the summit of Mount Fuji, he realized that he finally felt alive. Every step, every encounter, and every obstacle had led him to this moment. He understood that the round-the-world journey was not about countries, but about returning to himself. After 2 years, he returned home, but he was already a different person. John started his own project to organize volunteer trips, helping others find themselves just as he had found himself. This story is not about running away from life, but about living it fully. A journey is not an escape from reality, but a path to understanding it. Every new sunrise in a foreign land, every conversation with a stranger, every challenge you overcome, these are the building blocks of becoming whole. Sometimes the fear of change is a signal that you are on the verge of something great. By stepping away from the familiar, we open doors to the unknown, and it is in this chaos and uncertainty that we begin to hear our own voice. If you feel stuck, perhaps it's time to step into the unknown, because that is where your journey to yourself begins. Remember, the most significant journeys happen not only in the world, but also within us.